So are you a realtor that's looking to create your niche market or your farm area, and you're running into some struggles because you don't want to bang on all those doors. You don't want to try to gather up one listing and then just consistently door knock the heck out of it. And sometimes you don't have the ability to just do open house after open house after open house. And there's only so many social media posts you can in fact post. Well, I have been farming an area of over 10,000 doors for more than 10 years using a very successful tactic. And it's an old tried and true tactic, but it is in fact one that has worked for me. And I use it for many different ways of natural marketing. And it's the Every Door Direct Mail system. Every Door Direct Mail. If you've never heard of it, it's a service provided through the United States Postal Service. And it's in a very inexpensive way for you to get your 6x9 or larger postcards out to your farm market. So everyone says, oh, you got to go digital, you got to do YouTube, got to do all these things, which is great. All that stuff is excellent and it's powerful content. But if you're starting out and you don't have really a strong area market influence online, where are you going to start? What do? You probably want to start a little bit smaller, gaining some knowledge in a particular market and expanding out from there, starting out with a base. And let me tell you what's great about this Every Door Direct Mail is it truly does attract listings. And what do they say in real estate? Listings last. And you never know what can come with buyers right now. Fortunately, we're in a situation where there actually is a lack of inventory in the market, and there's still more buyers out there that want to purchase homes, even with the high interest rate environment we have. So that's a good thing, but I'll just tell you, even today, if the market did turn one way or the other, if you don't have an ability to have constant and consistent income through listings, then you might be in trouble because anything can happen in anyone's business. So that said, putting yourself in the best position to get those listings is going to be critical. And so I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about how I go about my Every Door Direct Mail campaign. Like I said, I've been marketing with Every Door Direct Mail for over 10 years. And how did I start out with that? Well, I actually started out with learning it from another realtor and decided I would find a farm market that had, number one, really great turnover. Find a market, look in your MLS system and say, you know what areas have really great turnover, sales that are happening on a monthly basis. And not only that, but is there one like just top dog in this market that's just killing it? And if so, you may want to redirect to a different market. You don't want to go too far outside your world in terms of where you're located from where you live, for example, versus not. Because at the end of the day, you want to be relatively close to your market. You don't have to live in the farm market, but you want to be relatively close. Because at the end of the day, people are going to call you. They say, hey, can you come over at 2 o'clock today and do our walkthrough and potentially list your house? And you're going to want to say, yeah, absolutely. If you're on the other side of town and it takes you an hour to get there, that might be tough if you got to create comps and do various things. So I'll just say that the most important thing is finding a good market if you're close to it that's got some good turnover and start there. Next thing you want to do is obviously create your content. 6x9 is the minimum card style you can do with Every Door Direct Mail. Every Door Direct Mail has some particular things we'll get into that are specific to where the cost is much lower, and we can talk further about that in a moment. But I started using it with a printing company, and they literally did everything for me. And I still use them to this day. I have started using another company to reduce my overall overhead cost. But that being said, you can literally, in many cases, if you call up any printing company, you say, hey, look, I'm looking into Every Door Direct Mail to these specific areas. And you give them a rough draft of what you want. They'll create it for a certain fee of the overall idea. And they'll even sometimes send it to the post office for you. So those are the kind of things you can get done at any old printing company in your town. And I'll just say that I've been successfully being able to do that every single month for years. And it's great because you draft it up, you give them a sketch, you do a few back and forth of what you think you want it to be tweaked to, and then you're done. It gets sent out, it's sent, and you're all good there. And so, why is it important to do this, and what can be the benefit? Obviously, there's many things you can say on your postcard. A few of the things I really like to say is, especially if I have a listing in the neighborhood, just list it, right? Photos, information, a QR code. QR codes are huge when it comes to these. I have a really great HomeBot service that I like. HomeBot is a valuation tool. If you don't know what that is, I'll leave a link below to HomeBot, and you can certainly take a look at that company. And for $25 a month, you can get a very intuitive home valuation and site, and that really does a great job of capturing those interested parties about what their home value is. And then anytime it changes, they'll send an email, and it really gives them all sorts of stuff. It gives them information related to if they're put on solar panels, if they rent their house out, if they're an Airbnb. It's really slick. I really do enjoy that HomeBot. There's so many different ways of sites that do the home valuation, but I think that HomeBot, what I really love about it is versus our own website, it's very unbranded to an extent, but we still get to capture and see all those leads, and every time they come back to the site, and if they're showing selling signs or refinancing signs, things of this nature. And so you can take a look at that down below. So when it comes to EDDMs, what I really do love is the fact that when I do have a listing that's going up in a market, or if I want to send out information such as a video, if I'm doing a market update, once again, I will put some content on that card, make it a QR code or end a link below, and they have the ability to go on there and get, click on the QR code and see my YouTube video or see my YouTube walkthrough tour or whatever the case. And that instantly pushes them to my YouTube video, right? And my YouTube page, and they can subscribe and know that, hey, I am in this market, and that is pushing them to my digital content, and it's also keeping them in the loop of their valuations and all sorts of things. So give them a couple different options there. Once again, we're talking about every door direct mail. Why is it so important? Well, because it's cheap, man. It's it's like 0.189 cents per card right now, whereas a first class is around 48 cents for a postcard. And so you're talking 30 cents off from standard. And you can send a lot more cards in a defined area. And here's a look at the website. So let's take a peek at the website here. As you can see, as we're going through this site, as I click on this, it highlights areas where you can in fact send those EDDMs. And it's pretty straightforward. It's the zip code, and then it's the sub zip, and then you print those out, and then you will then turn around and go to the post office once you have these bundled. We'll talk about that now. Whoever you get these printed from, like I said, in many cases you can go straight to the printer, and they will in fact do all this for you. No matter what the case, they will even you just tell them the sub zips you want, as I've just shown you, and they will then buy it, print it, take it all to the post office, do everything for you. Or if you need to have a extra service, or just a printing service done, you then have to bundle them in 50s. Just so you know, bundle them 50s, and then bring them in separate buckets, and then you can in fact put those little pages you had to print out from the Every Door Direct Mail post office website, and then lay those in there, and then you pay at the post office for the amount of mailers that you're paying for. And so all I can say here is Every Door Direct Mail is truly the least expensive way. I mean, there's so many other ways to send out mail. Most of them are going to be first class, and so many more are going to be real estate. They're going to be ways to do both, right, in a layered campaign fashion. But I really prefer EDDM because it gives you the largest amount of coverage, and you can still do what you need to do. You've got a ability to hit every single house. You can talk about your listings. You You can talk about home value. You can, put your QR on there or your link to your YouTube or whatever to discuss what you want to discuss, and that drives that traffic. So a layered campaign. Layered campaign is so important because you're not only trying to hit them with your digital in those markets, whether it be YouTube groups, whatever your market, but also on your print. And then if you've got a billboard, I've got a billboard in my market that drives some traffic as well, and they see my face constantly. And so that's just a little bit about Every Door direct mail. If you want to learn more about that, once again, please do shoot me a note, or you can contact me through my Calendly. Learn more about this. I think Every Door direct mail has been and always will be a very vital part of real estate. And I think that many people that aren't on YouTube, Instagram, which there's still a ton of them, keep in mind, people that are, closer to older than 50 years old, there's a ton of them, right? Those people don't necessarily get on YouTube every single day, and they don't know. They don't know how to get information. And this is what it's all about, providing the best information, to providing them the content they want, and for you to be able to be that provider of information. So I would just say that the Every Door direct mail has truly been my one way. I'll say one way, but one of the ways that I have been able to be as successful as I have, and consistent. I'll tell you what, if anything, my business has just been consistent. And I would say for over 7 years, it's just been on autopilot in terms of, okay, here's the time of the month I need to do this. Okay, put out a mailer, put out content, I get calls, I get inquiries, and people, save those cards. I'll tell you what, when it comes to my mailers, people will save those things for years. I've had people pull out a card and said, I got this 5 years ago, and they'll call me. It's really amazing how long they will hold on to those, and they will, and they'll call you. So, EDDM, if you have any questions, reach out. Thanks.